Hey, I'm Jon Gordon. I'm with Maurice Jones-Drew, my favorite running back of all time. Loved watching him play, a hero of mine. So it's great that you're able to join us, Maurice. Thanks so much.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you guys for having me.
So, you've been playing football a long time on your journey in this life. When did you start playing? How old were you when you started playing?
Well, I started flag football at the age of 7, tackle at the age of 8, and then kind of just fell in love with football, tackle football, obviously, at that point, and just kind of carried me throughout my career.
Did you ever dream that you would play in the NFL?
It's funny. Like, I never thought of it trying to make it there. I always lived in the moment. Really, football to me was a chance to, one was you get to hit people and not get in trouble, so that was cool. But then two, I had a group of friends that we had a common goal. So that was kind of where I just kind of enjoyed that and just worried about that. Once I got to high school, I started to get recruited a little bit, but didn't really know too much, about the recruiting scene. And once I got to college, I played really well my freshman year, played good my second year. And then my third year was like, oh, you can go to the league. And I was like, really? But kind of saw from that point on and just moved forward. And every year I always lived in the moment, made sure I was the best that I could be that year.
Positive University is all about overcoming challenges, adversity to become all that you're meant to become. Like, what challenges did you have to overcome to become an incredible NFL player, a legend?
Well, I think a lot of things, from in the neighborhood that I grew up with friends that I had who went the wrong way, making those choices off the field were huge. On the field, I was taught, my grandparents and my mom always told me, like, if you start something, you have to finish it. And it's not one of those things where you can back off. You give 110% the whole time. Then at the end, it's okay. So on the field, I was okay. But for me, it was a lot of stuff off the field. Obviously, friends having babies or friends getting in trouble, going to jail, or guys getting shot and those type of things. So understanding, what was my bigger goal in life and what I wanted to achieve and being able to kind of eliminate those distractions. And I had help from my family as well. But, there's times when my mom's not around, I have some friends like, oh, we should go and do this. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go home. Those are kind of things that I really focused on and kept throughout, because as I did get older and as I started getting more success in football, more distractions started to come. So it worked out for me.
I remember in 2007, the first team I ever spoke to was the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was your second year, right?
Yes, it was.
You were in the room. I remember we met. We were about the same height, which finally someone was my height. Was height ever a factor for you, or never ever a limitation for you trying to make it in the NFL or being an NFL player?
I mean, it was to other people, yes. It was crazy. You would hear in the draft, like, oh, he's too short, or I heard that my whole life, like, oh, he's not big enough to play football, or oh, he's not fast enough, or oh, he's too short, or oh, it's this. And to me, football to me was like, it's a game of leverage. So who has the most leverage, a guy that's 6'3" or a guy that's 5'7"? So I figured 5'7" can get under anybody, and I try to utilize that to my advantage. But it also drove me as well to prove people, like, a lot of people are going to say stuff, but to me it was more just, I'm going to go out there and dominate and be the best I can be and try to help whatever team I was on win and be a catalyst of just energy and passion so people can, people be excited. So every time you saw a first down, I was trying to throw a first down sign or flex or whatever it might have been, just because, football it's a very physical game, as we saw the last couple of weeks. There's been some serious injuries that have gone down, but you always want to have that energy and to keep your mind off those negative things.
Where did this belief come from that you have?
I'd have to say my grandparents and my mom. They never let me, feel sorry for myself. They never felt sorry for me, and they always used to tell me, like, only you can believe in yourself, right? That's the first person that needs to believe. And so that was one of the things. I took that literally and started to believe in myself so much that sometimes I got a little borderline overly confident, maybe a little cocky, but I was able to rein that back in. But I always tell kids when I see them, go out there and do it for you first, and then allow everyone else to kind of come on and help you. And so that belief started in school, getting my first 90 on a test or 85 on a test that I thought I would struggle in. And, it kind of just piled up from there.
What was it like to play at UCLA?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I went to UC. Well, a lot of people don't know this. I went to UCLA because I wanted to be an astronaut coming out of high school, and they had one of the top engineering programs at the time. And so I picked the school. I picked colleges off of academics and not athletics. UCLA was a down. They weren't as good. Had a new staff, but they had a really good engineering program. So I tried to do engineering and football. It didn't really work out. The coaches were like, listen, you're getting your school paid for. You may want to focus on football a little bit more. And I was like, I get it. So I got there, got a chance to really, see Baron Davis and see all these people who made it to the NFL or NBA or whatever professional sport it was. And to be surrounded by those type of people, that was always another thing that I always wanted to be surrounded by greatness. If you're surrounded by greatness, you have no choice but to be great. And being not being great is an outcast. That's the thing that it's not normal. And so, my whole life I've tried to surround myself with people that are striving to be the best they can be. UCLA was a university that allowed us to see other things, from basketball players like Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, Jordan Farmar, Trevor Ariza, guys that I came into school with, or if it was soccer or if it was, every sport was winning championships. And then to see the kids that you meet on campus. I remember there was a girl that I met, and she would take broken computers and rebuild them and then sell them. And I want to say at that time, that was 2003 possibly, she was probably making like $300,000-$400,000, and that's what was paying for her school. So that type of success was like, wow, so you don't have to just play sports like I knew growing up to make money. You can make money doing a lot of things. So just being surrounded by greatness and success was something that really, I think a lot of other colleges may have it, but UCLA just had so much of it, it was hard to turn it down.
Yeah, your pursuit of greatness was always so inspiring. I mean, you inspired me towards greatness as I wrote a book called Training Camp. Martin Jones was inspired by Maurice Jones-Drew. That's why I named him Martin Jones, a shorter running back trying to make it in the NFL. And he pursues greatness. I mean, it's funny how your pursuit of greatness inspired other people, inspired me, and now you're hopefully inspiring another generation of athletes and people to be their best. I mean, now you're working for the NFL Network. You're an analyst on the network. And I'm just amazed at the insights that you bring to your work now, the commitment you have. Is it the same pursuit of excellence now as an analyst that you had as a player?
Oh, yes. That doesn't change. Your pursuit of greatness never changes, I think. But for me, football has been my whole life. Since I've been 7 years old, I've watched football. I've played football. I'm 32 now, so that's 24 years of my life. Football has kind of consumed me. In the last half, it was all football. So it was an easy transition. I think that's one of the things where, we tend to struggle as professional players is our transitioning back into the regular world. We don't have structure. And so I remember being at home and my wife was like, look, you can't be at home, right? It's you just can't do it. It's not you. And I'm like, why? Why would you say? She goes, well, you can't take your youngest son out of school just to hang out with you for the day, right? So it was little stuff like that I still had that drive to be great and I wanted to do things. I just didn't know where I wanted to go. And so media was one of those deals, and it's awesome. I get a chance to be around football. I work for the Rams as well. I get a chance to really study teams and dive into teams the same way I did when I was playing. And, you want to be the best analyst that you can be. So that's like one of the biggest things for me is to grow in this business and push myself to being better than what I ever thought I could be. Then also pushing my limits and not only talking sports, but talking pop culture, maybe talking politics, maybe talking, everyday life, whatever it may be, and just trying to push myself to be the best, broadcaster there is. On top of that, I do work with kids here in the Bay Area where we do 7-on-7, and I try to push kids to colleges. And one of our big takes are, well, first of all, there's all my high school buddies. We all do the same thing. So that's my favorite part. The second thing is we get together. We all have the same focus. We all have the same mission that we did in high school. And we take kids from the inner city. We take kids from everywhere, and we kind of force them to see different things. So not only are they looking, at Oakland every day, they get a chance to look at some other things as well. Maybe go to UCLA, maybe go to Oregon, maybe go to Washington, maybe go to the University of Georgia and see what life is like out there. So There's a lot of things that we were able to do here to kind of push our mission forward, not only allowing us to be better men, but allowing us to push that success and that greatness on other kids and give them that kind of mindset that you need to go forward.
What do you think makes a great team? You've been on a lot of teams on your journey. What makes a great team?
Well, the first thing is selflessness. But I think selflessness, you got to be selfish in that. Selfish enough that you're going to do your job to the best of your ability every day and not hurt the team. But selfless enough to sacrifice sometimes when you need to do it. I think getting people on the same page, everybody understand that we're all going to, it is tough. It's easier in high school and college when you're not getting paid. Obviously, when money comes into it in the pros, it's pretty tough. But at the same time, I always told the guys in Jacksonville, no, we struggled, but we got better. And you see the team playing well now. Everyone's going to get whatever you want if you win. But it's not the winning is the outcome. It's winning every day, being on time, putting the best workouts you can in the weight room, being the best in the training room, being the best on the practice field, and then letting that translate over to the football field, and then improving every day after that. And so it's little things like that. I think win the day is something that we tried to bring there. And it is a cultural thing where you're thinking about winning. You're thinking about, making sure you're putting your best foot forward, what you're putting in your body, how you're taking care of your body, how you're studying the opponent. So the best teams I felt like is that it was the success wasn't necessarily, that was the outcome, but it was like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, is not preparing your best or not giving your best on the field was like an outcast. Like they didn't even allow it. And you were terrified to do that. If you didn't go out there and give it your all, it was like, oh, I'm different than everyone else. Where on a lot of teams, if you're slacking, or if you're not running as hard as you can, the conditioning, or if you're not being where you're supposed to be, guys will be like, oh, okay, go forward. It's okay. We'll move on. But in the places that I've been the most successful is when that's not even allowed. That's not even accepted anywhere in the building. So
I was amazed when we talked at the Rams practice that day that you just had such a great eye and insight into who would be great as a player, what teams would be great. I mean, you almost have a mind of a GM, even smarter than a lot of GMs. I'm wondering, when you look at a team, when you look at a player, what are you looking for to see if they'll be great?
For me, I feel like everyone's talented, and that's it's tough. It's like it's not what they do physically; it's what they do mentally. And you have to be around a team more and more. Obviously, being in Jacksonville, I kind of saw a lot of what some people were doing, and a lot of what we did well and what we didn't do well. So then when I go to the Rams, I got a chance my first year to really sit down and look at a lot of guys and kind of see what's going on. And there was little things that I noticed that what we did in Jacksonville, they were doing, and that wasn't helping us be successful. And so this next one I saw it was kind of a different day and age. I think Coach McVay, Andrew Whitworth, their big-time left tackle, jumped off sides, and he had to run out of the play. He missed that rep on that situation. And holding people accountable, right? But not only Coach McVay holding people accountable, Andrew Whitworth not barking back at Coach McVay for not, for jumping off sides. And so I think those are some of the things that you try to look for in the people you want on your staff. Guys, again, that are understanding, like, I have to do my job to the best of my ability. And you can see that in a lot of people. You can tell if a guy's a professional or not. And then as well for coaches, I think that's the other thing. The coaches have to be professional as well. We've seen a lot of things that happened in this league the last couple of weeks. And you're seeing guys, kind of not be professional in some situations or not be positive in the situation and are taken the wrong way, I guess, or seeing things the wrong way. And then those things kind of trickle down. Then players stop playing for you. And then not only your players stop playing for you, now your job's on the line. And now all of a sudden the organization doesn't look well. So being positive is the biggest thing, and accountability, I think, is the biggest thing in the league.
Would you want to be a GM one day?
I would love to. I would like to own a team first, but if I have to go the GM route, I would love to do that as well. I think, again, playing the game at this level and playing around so many different guys and being around so many different coaches as well as GMs and owners, I have a unique take on certain things. I would love to have, if I was a GM, I'd love to have a coach who was a multi-formation, multi-personnel guy, as offense and defense, because players come in all shapes and sizes. You can get a guy like Aaron Donald, who's an amazing player at 6 foot. You know, I think he's 5'10", but we'll give him 6 feet. Who's an amazing player. But then you also can get a guy like Ndamukong Suh, who's the prototypical looking guy, right? So I'm all about guys that make plays and guys who are positive and happy. And I think the way Aaron handled his holdout, the way he handled coming back to the Rams, that was a really big deal for me to see that this dude is a real leader. He really cares. And, yes, he's a very smart businessman. He understands it, but he understands how he can affect his team if he comes back in a negative way.
So as we close out, what was one defining moment in your life? This is a question I ask everyone. I'd love to know something that helped you become who you are today. One moment.
Oh man, there's a ton of them. I think I'd have to say Pop Warner when I lost my first game. We lost to a team that my son plays now, San Leandro, and it was kind of the way we lost. I'd fumbled and lost the game, and it was over. And it was one of those things where I felt like I let my teammates down. But all my guys were like, "No, you're good, man. And we wanted, like, it happens. Don't worry about it." Then to have that support in that situation, it taught me, like, not to ever, if someone's down, don't kick them while they're down, right? Don't jump on them, but try to uplift them. And so it was something that happened to me, and it's funny, it's happening to my son now. So they're getting whooped left and right. But it's good because there's a lot of lessons you can learn in losing as well as winning, and so it's exciting to see that.
And then you went to high school and played for one of the most successful high school programs in history. What was that like?
Well, De La Salle was a little bit different. I thought I knew what hard work was until I got to De La Salle, and I think the biggest thing that they taught me was that every day you have to go past your limits. You may say, man, I ran 300s today. I'm tired. But you can run 7, right? And you push yourself to that point. I think that's what made us the best that we were, was that we were able to push ourselves every day and maximize our ability every day. We would, our coaches always said, "You guys are lying. We didn't do all that." We used to have summer workouts where we'd run and lift for 3-4 hours and then go play a 7-on-7 game. And if the coach didn't like the way we played, and it wasn't if we won or not, but if we didn't play the right way, the coach would he would make us run again. So he put a lot of pressure on us, but it was the right pressure, and it wasn't to win. He didn't care about winning. It was how we won. Did we win with doing the right technique? Did we win with class? Did we not showboat on our opponents? Things like that. So pushing our limits and striving to be the best, and then again making us accountable. There was a lot of times where if you did 2 sports, you had to get up at 6:30 in the morning and lift before school. And so guess what? A lot of us would be up at 6:30 in the morning because we had a lot of multi-sport guys who would get up and lift at 6:30. So accountability, pushing your limits, and winning with class, I think, was a good one.
Did you work harder in high school than you did in college, given the high school program you came from?
Well, I don't think I worked hard. I think it was smarter. Like, as I got older, my high school career, I had a couple injuries, but nothing major. When I got to UCLA, I was there to try to change the culture, and so we did do a ton of different things, but it was just smarter because you got guys that are 22 years old, 23 years old who are coming off some knee surgeries. So as a group, I think we trained and worked smarter, but I feel like the work ethic that I put in was the exact same as I did in high school, and we were able to change that program. Even now, they still call it the glory days, which is exciting to be a part of that. But we made sure that we had guys that put their best foot forward, and I tried to bring a little bit of that De La Salle to UCLA, and it worked. We went from, I want to say, a 6-6 team to a 10-2 team by the time I left, so that was exciting.
So complete the sentence. The future of UCLA football is?
It's going to be exciting. It is going to be exciting. Chip Kelly's there. Very excited about what he's going to be able to bring to UCLA. Wasn't a big fan of him in the pros. I just feel like he's a really good college coach, and sometimes that doesn't transfer over to the pros. But as a college coach, he's phenomenal, and I'm excited to see what kind of recruits he brings in. I'm excited to see his staff. I'm really excited to see how he kind of can get this team going, because I have some guys that I coached in high school that are on that team, and those kids have the ability to make it to the next level, and hopefully he can help them there.
All right, 2 final questions. What's one word that you would say defines your life, the legacy that you want to leave? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but if you had a word that would define that.
Determination. I think I used to get offended by that word a lot when people would kind of describe my style of running, or they say some guys, this guy is elusive and this guy is fast, and then they come to me and they're like, oh, he's determined. And I was like, hold on, I got some skill too, but I feel like that word is very true to what my career has been about, what my life has been about. Making sure that I did everything the right way. Made sure I finished everything straight through, no matter what was in my way or no matter what happened. Being able to take a little bit of off the field stuff and not let it get on the field, and being determined to change cultures and try to bring a championship culture everywhere I went. Even though it didn't work all the time, it was something that I put my best foot forward to do. So I think determination is something that I'd have to go with.
And what do you tell your kids who are playing sports? Like, what advice do you give them while they're playing? So what does Coach Jones-Drew say to them?
I always tell my kids, just give 100%. I mean, you can't control the outcome sometimes, but what we can control is making sure that we're sprinting everywhere, we're giving it our best, and we're positive. I think that's the biggest thing with kids sports right now, is that there's so many coaches who are so concerned with winning and getting W's instead of making it a better experience and enjoying the process. Because, as long as they're having fun at practice and the kids are enjoying what they're doing, the wins will come. That's nature. But they have to enjoy it, and they have to have a great time with it. And so I remember this year I was helping coach my oldest son's team, and they're a younger team, and they've been getting beat up a little bit. And one of the kids got a strip fumble, and he scooped it, and he didn't fall. Instead of scooping and trying to score, he fell on it. And, I went out there to go celebrate with the guys. And one of these kids, I'm 5'7", so this kid had to be like 5'2". And he jumped, and he busted my lip all open. And the coaches were laughing. But I was like, we have to get excited. We have to cheer, because when we do those things, they'll play better. And sure enough, we were able to win that game. So it was one of the couple games that we lost, in that situation. But that energy that we brought, that excitement, that the culture that we created there for that one game was awesome.
I have to ask another question. I said I was only going to ask two more, but I have to ask.
It's all good.
What do we do about the negative parents? The parents that are hurting youth sports and making it about them rather than about the kids. What do we do about that? That's tough. I've tried to. It's hard, because I know a lot of people want to coach their kids and they want to give their kids a shot, and I get that. I understand that fully. And it's one of those ones. I was an assistant coach on my son's team, and I was trying to push our guys to have a better culture than what we had, and a better experience for our kids. And we had a couple of riffs back and forth. I think one of the things we do is we try to sit them down and talk to them and let them understand. And they may not understand. That may be something that they felt happened to them a long time ago, and they want to change it for their kid. But I always tell parents all the time, my son was a minimum play guy at one point, and I was okay with that. I wasn't a parent that was like, hey, you need to play my son because of who I am, or those type of things. My son has to earn everything that he gets. And so I've always been a big component of that. And I've tried to teach, and try to tell other people, like, it's going to happen. Like, one day my son may not ever make it to the NFL. I'm okay with that. But as long as he is the best and gives the best that he can every day, I'm happy with it. And so I've tried to change it a little bit where I am, and I know there's a lot of negativity going a lot of places, but I think it's starting to slowly change because a lot of people are seeing it. I think Gus Bradley in Jacksonville did a great job. Even though the Jaguars didn't win, the culture that he built there, you're seeing it now. You're seeing the fruits of his labor now. The team that's 8-4, and so it may not work early on, but if you can continue with it, because you're fighting an uphill battle, right? And so if you can continue with it, if you can continue going on and pushing forward, I think it'll work out. So to all you negative parents out there, stay positive. That's right. I love
it.
It
works out better for you.
I love that. All right, final question. What are you excited about going forward with your life?
Oh, so many challenges. I just opened a gym here in the Bay Area, and that's something, that I've always dreamed of doing since a kid. And I have a bunch of friends of mine who I grew up with who are all trainers. So they're trainers here at the facility that we're at now. That's something that, I'm excited to see how that grows, how that helps the Bay Area. how that helps kids. We're trying to bring a tutoring platform here as well. But, again, it's something that I feel like there's so many kids that are so talented that don't make it to where they should be because of distractions off the field or because school's not there, because they instead of hanging out at night, you can hang out here. They don't have a place to hang out. So we built this to be a place to hang out. Very excited to see how it pans out as well. That as well as working with the Rams and seeing how the Rams are playing, and then as well as NFL Network and hopefully moving to daytime TV. So as well as being a dad, being the best dad that I can be, right, while doing all those things. So I'm excited. There's a lot on my plate. There's a lot on my wife's plate. She's doing a great job. And we have 3 active kids. One does cheerleading and tumbling, which is crazy. And then my 2 boys play football, rugby, and run track. So we have a full workload, but it's exciting. There's never a dull day here.
Well, I loved you as a player, but it's been so exciting to see the man that you've become. And what's even better is that you're an even better man than you are a player. So thanks so much. Thanks so much, MJD. I really appreciate you taking the time for this interview.
No problem, John. I appreciate it. And all your books have been phenomenal. They've helped out a ton. Trust me.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we got to stay positive on this journey together. So thanks so much. Good luck to your gym. What's the gym called?
The gym the name of the gym is Power Endurance. So we're getting there.
All right, MJD, thank you so much.
All right, see you later.